Welcome to another edition of Be a Stand-Up Leader, the ABCs of doing things right. I'm John Russell, owner of the Business Source. I'm here with Jared Whitman from Whitman Media. Jared is an expert videographer, and I'm happy to have him working with us to put together this podcast on the different chapters in the book I wrote. Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome, John. I'm excited. We're rolling through. We're gonna do some great filming today, and this I just sent you over the some of the previous stuff, and I'm pretty excited how it looks at.
Yeah, it was nice to see a link in my inbox to a completed podcast. Yep. I'll have to admit, I got pretty excited about it. I'm still excited about it, and going into this session today, it even makes me more excited.
Yeah.
Because your work is pretty incredible.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I've never worked with somebody at your skill level for this type of a podcast. I've done TV commercials, I've done infomercials, I've done other things, but this is a little different.
Yeah. Well, it's different for both of us. I think it's different for you, and I haven't done anything like this before. So, but we dove in with both feet, right. And we slowly evolved the setup and the podcast, and we changed, and we're doing some small tweaks right now. Like today we added more lights, and Lucas is here, and so I'm just jacked. I'm super excited.
We're in a continuous improvement mode where every week we try to get better, and we ask ourselves, what can we do different with the set? What can we do different with the mics? What can we do different with the lights? How do we make it better? Part of the reason why we're doing this is to help show you that you can do podcasts, and it's fun, it's exciting, and we've got a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
So let's start with the first subject today. Last time we talked about asking better questions.
Yep.
Today we're going to talk about a variety of things, but on the top of the list is a subject people don't like to talk about.
I think it's important to talk about.
Right. It's burnout.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with burnout.
Yeah.
What's your familiarity with
I
burnout?
guess the perspective of burnout is, at what point in your career do you feel like you're at a dead end?
Okay.
And that you're not getting what you hoped for?
Yeah.
Or you're working so hard that you're exhausted?
Yeah.
And you're like, it isn't worth it.
Yeah.
I'm going to bail.
Okay, yeah.
I can't deal with this anymore. I got to check out.
Yeah.
I burned out on this job. I'll do anything. I'll bag groceries. I'll wash cars, anything but what I'm doing right now, because I'm not loving it.
Right. I think that's a part of it. I think another part of it is like burning the candle at both ends of the stick.
Right.
And I've recently had several paradigm shifts in the last year. And one of them was the difference between a work-life balance.
Right.
I mean, I love what I do. I love helping businesses get started with video. I love helping businesses connect to their audiences through video content and marketing strategies. And right now, as an entrepreneur, there is no work-life balance. This is just my life.
Right.
This is my vocation. And so now I'm doing a lot of stuff.
Right.
As you know, and the list I sent you beforehand has grown. So I'm doing more stuff than I was before, but I don't feel like I'm burning out. I don't feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends, because
right.
One of the things I said last time was I remove a lot of things that I like to do to focus on what I love to do.
Right.
And I love this.
Right.
This is my job. This is my life. This is my vocation.
So you're loving what you do. So your chances of burnout are pretty small.
They are pretty small.
Well, when I left the corporate world in 2008 and started the Business Source,
Yeah.
I immersed myself in my business, because as a solopreneur, you apply yourself at all levels to achieve the goals you set, because there's nobody else to fall back on.
Right. And there's no one there telling you that you have to do this and you have to do, keeping you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable.
So along the way, we're fortunate because we love what we do, so we don't perceive it as work so much.
Exactly.
And it comes and goes, but the reality is if you can build a relationship with your company and your team and your management and find that passion.
Yeah.
Find that passion in doing what you love. People always say if you're not doing what you love, leave it and go find something that you do love.
Right.
Because if you're going to work a lot, you might as well do something that makes you happy.
You only have one life, right? We only have one life, one opportunity to really either make an impact on the world, make the world a better place, or if you hate every day going to work, that's a telltale sign that you should look for something else.
Time to find something different.
Time to find something different.
Well, it was interesting when I started this chapter. I did a little bit of research. I found out that the median employee tenure was 4.3 years.
That's pretty low.
People stay at a job for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And then they quit, move on, change jobs. They either change jobs horizontally to a job in the same fashion that they're in now, or they can go vertically up to a better position, and sometimes even taking a step back and taking a position that's one notch down from where you're at with the hopes of growth and moving up, better opportunities in the future, all good moves.
Yeah.
So when you know that the average job tenure is 4.3 years, how as a business owner, how as a stand-up leader, are you going to keep your people?
I think that's a testament to that business not having stand-up leaders in that role, in that leadership role. Because if there's a stand-up leader in the business, they're gonna focus on the people, right? Their employees and the customers, and do the work on their business, not in their business.
Right.
We've talked about this in the past. I think that putting those things into place will help retain people.
Sure.
There's a quote out there where people don't quit jobs, they quit management.
Yeah, that's true.
So, how are you approaching your people? How are you interacting with your people? What are you doing to support your people? What are you doing to support the goals and the life of your people? How can you help your people fulfill their goals and their dreams?
I love this subject because there's a way as a stand-up leader to build a culture, to build a work environment where your employees can come to work, enjoy their work, be committed, be passionate. One of the things that we talk about is creating a culture for employee longevity.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've experienced in my life was when I was a sales manager, I had a very talented individual. He came to me one day and he said, I'm leaving to go to work for a big automotive group. I'm like, really, Bill? Tell me about it. He said, they laid out a career map for the rest of my life.
Oh, smart.
I'm going to become the general manager eventually, but I'm going to follow this path that they've set for me, and I can see a future. And I thought, what an incredibly smart thing for the competitor to do.
Yeah.
They hired Bill away, and he became the general manager. They weren't kidding.
Nice.
They made a plan for him,
Yeah.
and then they executed it.
Yeah.
And they didn't waver. So my perspective is when you bring a new employee on, I would sit down with the employee and talk about their dreams, their vision, their goals in life. It has nothing to do with the job. Let me find out what Jared really wants out of life. How can I help Jared reach his personal goals? How can I help him achieve the vision that he wants for himself and his family? And if I can chart a course and lay out a career map that will help you get to where you want to be, wouldn't you figure out you're part of the team and we're working together towards a unified goal? Yeah. Yeah. That's always been an amazing thing to me, that career map.
I think that what a great way to approach it. I wonder if so many companies are just stuck in the old ways of, you are an employee, you should be grateful that I'm paying you for this job that you're doing. That's not how the market is anymore.
No.
There's been a shift, and I've said this a lot over the last years. There's been a shift in not even from a customer standpoint of building relationships, but now building a relationship from an employee standpoint and really being there for the employee. They have kids, they have to maybe leave and go to a doctor appointment or do something like that. I mean, as long as they're getting the job done, if they have to leave for an hour and they make up that hour, I know some companies supportive. Some companies can't do that, and that's understandable.
Right, and every job's a little different.
Yeah, exactly. But if there's an opportunity to help support your employee as they're going through struggles or they're going through maybe an issue comes up, if you can show support to that employee, right, there's a really good chance that that employee is going to feel appreciated,
right,
and support the company by being there in a long term manner. And then going back to something that you said a couple episodes ago about what it takes to building a bench, I think.
Right. Recruitment.
What it takes to actually recruit for a position, how much money and time it takes. So if you can support your employees and they stay longer, well, then you're also saving money and time by not having to constantly recruit and fill that position again every 4 or 5 years.
The cost of turnover and the commitment it takes to bring somebody new on and to train them and to bring them up to speed with the relationships inside your company. The small cost to make sure an employee stays happy, maybe with a wellness program. Yeah. Sometimes it's a membership to a fitness club. Sometimes it's time off. Sometimes it's a variety of things. But what it should do is line up with what the employee is dreaming about. Yes. What's their hope? What do they hope for? How are they going to evolve? What does their career look like 2 and 3 and 4 years down the road? Paint that picture for them.
I think another and this goes with being a stand-up leader is if you're going to paint that path, that map of here's what you can hit, here's what you can do,
right,
then you have to follow through on that.
Right.
Because as soon as you pull that out, you're like, oh, we changed our mind. Well, because that's happened. I've seen it happen. That goes against being a stand-up leader, and that's not what we're about.
It's the first step for that employee going out the door.
Exactly.
Because you just reneged on a promise. Yeah. Employees never forget.
No, they don't.
The stand-up leaders don't forget. Bad managers, they forget. Yeah. Forget that the promises made to bring Jared on board, the things that I promised you to come on over to help you achieve your goals, if that goes out the window, so does Jared. Yep. And that's something that it's easy to avoid, but you have to invest in your people. You've got to learn what their hopes and dreams are so that you can help them achieve their life goals, and they'll work for you forever. It's not that difficult.
I also add in there, make sure you're checking in to employees, whether it's, you have a yearly review, but maybe do you need a review every 90 days and just doing a check-in. You're going to have business, right? You're going to have business to talk about, right, but you should also build some rapport and understand how they're doing with their goals. Right. There's a thing that I was doing at my last job called a 100-day plan, where for the next 100 days, you'd decide what 3 business goals are and then 1 personal goal. And then, what happened for me? It was never gone through. No one ever went through.
Nobody cared.
Nobody cared. It was like, hey, we're going to do this thing. You have to do it with your people, but we're not going to do it with you. So if you're going to have people, do that, build a rapport and make note of it. It doesn't, you have it on paper, look over it and just check in with them.
It surprises me how many companies don't really do reviews at all. Employee reviews. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. They trust their people so much that they don't feel like they need to check in with them. But I found that even if there's a trust relationship, it's good to sit down with your employees, ask them how they're doing. Yeah. Wellness, mental wellness, and physical wellness for that matter. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in the world. When COVID was a big deal in 2020, a lot of people were distraught. Yeah. A lot of people were sick. A lot of people couldn't go to work. They couldn't go anywhere. So how did that affect people's mental state? I think it had a pretty daunting effect on people.
Yeah.
And I think we're still actually dealing with that because there's a lot of people that when it came down to nobody's coming into the office, everybody has to work from home, then they changed it. And like, no, now you want to come in. Well, it was working fine before when I was working from home.
Yeah.
Why do we have to come in now? And companies are mandating, if you want to get a paycheck, you have to be in the office. There's certain things that are going on. That's all employee wellness,
Yeah.
mental health, and to a certain degree, physical health, because you need to come in, you got to have energy, you want to come in and make some things happen. So ultimately, in order to avoid burnout or minimize the chances of your employees burning out, you need to spend a little time with them.
Yep.
And find out what's in their heart.
Yep.
What is their dream? What do they hope to achieve in life? What goals are they setting for themselves that maybe as a business owner and them as an employee, maybe you can work together with them to help them achieve their goals. Once they know you care and that you're going to invest some of your time, energy, and resources in helping them achieve their goals, they will help you achieve your goals.
Exactly. So serve the people and the people will serve you.
Servant leadership.
Yeah.
It's a cliche, but yet it's so true.
I agree 100%.
So I think we've covered burnout pretty well. I'm not burned out.
I'm not burned
We
out.
got more topics to talk about.
We got a lot more. We're only on B and we're going through the ABCs
Yeah.
of being a stand-up leader.
We got a ways to go.
We got a ways to go. I'm very excited. Hey, if you're looking for this book, pick it up on Amazon. That's where I got it. And very consumable book, very good read. John Russell, thank you so much for
Thanks,
joining
Jared.
me on this episode of the pursuit of being a stand-up leader.
We'll see you next time.